The Millionaire's Secret. 5 Wives and a Will. Zola Mabiso, a millionaire entrepreneur with a taste for luxury and a talent for making money, lived a life that would make even reality TV stars jealous. With a sprawling estate, a garage full of luxury cars, and 4 wives, Naledi, Zoleka, Zinzi, and Lorato, Zola seemed to have it all. Each wife brought something different to the table. Naledi, the first wife, had an eye for elegance and a tongue as sharp as her stilettos. Zoleka, the second wife, was known for her sweetness that masked a talent for throwing shade. Zinzi the third was dramatic enough to win an Oscar. And Lorato, the youngest, was the silent type, which was perhaps her best form of defense against the constant drama. The 4 wives had little in common apart from their shared dislike for each other and their love for the lavish lifestyle Zola provided. Zola, on the other hand, treated marriage like a business venture. Each wife was an investment, though none of them were turning a profit. His schedule was filled with business trips and urgent meetings, which gave him ample time to escape the ongoing soap opera at home. During one of these urgent meetings, in Cape Town, Zola met a woman named Sophie, who was everything his 4 wives were not: sharp, independent, and unfazed by his wealth. Sophie was running her own consulting firm, raising 2 boys from a previous marriage, and still finding time to close deals in high heels. When Zola met her, it was like his heart did a double take. This wasn't just another pretty face, this was a woman who could actually contribute to his empire. It didn't take long for Zola to find reasons to visit Cape Town more frequently. He and Sophie started collaborating on business deals that involved late dinners and shared laughs. She helped him secure some major contracts, bringing in profits that made even his bank account do a happy dance. Sophie was different, and Zola was smitten. In fact, he began to wonder why he had married his 4 wives in the first place. Feeling like a teenager in love, Zola decided to take the plunge. Without telling Sophie about his other wives, he sent his uncles to her family to negotiate the lobola. 2 days later, they were at Home Affairs signing the marriage certificate. It was all going smoothly until Zola realized he'd forgotten one minor detail: he was already married to 4 women. He decided to confess the truth to Sophie over a candle-lit dinner at her sleek penthouse. "Sophie," he started, nervously swirling his wine glass, "there's something I need to tell you." She raised an eyebrow, sensing trouble. I have 4 other wives." The glass in Sophie's hand trembled for a moment. 4 wives. "So, I'm what? Wife number 5?" Her voice escalated with each syllable. "Well, technically, yes," Zola stammered. "But they don't really count. You're different. You actually help me with my business. You're a partner, not just another." "Save it," Sophie interrupted, crossing her arms. "You could have just told me from the beginning." After a heated argument and a few slammed doors, Zola managed to calm Sophie down with promises of honesty moving forward, a Cartier bracelet, and a trip to Dubai. Though she reluctantly forgave him, the trust, like Zola's waistline, would take a while to bounce back. Back at the estate, the news of Zola's 5th wife spread faster than gossip at a beauty salon. Naledi was the first to react, throwing one of his prized crystal vases against the wall. "You've got some nerve, Zola. How many more women do you plan to collect?" Zoleka, sipping her imported French wine, chimed in, "He's not a husband. He's a collector of women." "What's next? A 6th wife?" Zinzi added dramatically, "At this rate, we'll need name tags just to keep track." Lorato, as usual, said nothing, but her face spoke volumes. Zola was unfazed by their reactions. "Listen, Sophie is different. She actually contributes to the business, unlike some people who just spend my money." He glanced around the room at his 4 wives. "I gave each of you businesses to run, but somehow, you managed to turn profits into debt. I even paid for your business courses, and yet we're still dealing with failed beauty spas and empty boutiques. Sophie actually knows what she's doing." That shut everyone up for a moment. After all, it wasn't like they could deny the truth. Sophie continued to live in her upscale penthouse, far away from the chaos of Zola's estate. 2 of the wives lived in suburban luxury, while the other 2 remained in rural estates that Zola had renovated into mini palaces. Sophie rarely interacted with the other wives, which suited everyone just fine. One day, Zola decided to surprise Sophie with a new sports car and a proposal for a spontaneous vacation. He was driving to her penthouse when his car hit a patch of loose gravel and veered off the road. The crash was fatal. Zola died on the spot, leaving behind a legacy of luxury and a very complicated family situation. The news of Zola's death spread like wildfire. His funeral was a grand affair, attended by socialites, politicians, business magnates, and even that one guy who always showed up to famous people's funerals just for the buffet. All 5 wives were present, each of them dressed in designer black dresses that seemed to scream, morning chic. But the real drama began the day after the burial. The 4 original wives, who had barely tolerated each other while Zola was alive, were now engaged in a full-blown power struggle over his estate. "I was the first wife. I deserve the main house," Naledi declared. "Please, Zola spent his last years at my place," Lorato shot back. Meanwhile, Sophie remained calm, too heartbroken to engage in their petty squabbles. She kept to herself, mourning quietly in her penthouse, far away from the madness. After 3 days of endless arguments, the lawyer gathered everyone for the reading of Zola's will. The room was filled with tension thicker than Zoleka fake eyelashes. The lawyer cleared his throat. "To my first 4 wives," he began, "I leave the houses you currently reside in, the cars you drive, and 1 million rand each." "That's it," Zinzi whispered. "What am I supposed to do with just a million? Buy 1 handbag." The lawyer continued, "The children will receive the same as their mothers, except for my youngest son, Thando, who will inherit the business he helped manage, a luxury house, a new car, and 3 million rand." The 4 wives exchanged confused glances. "And what about Sophie?" Zoleka finally asked, with a tone that suggested she was ready to fight. The lawyer took a deep breath. "As for Sophie, my 5th wife, who helped me expand my empire and was a true partner in every sense, she will inherit everything else, the luxury penthouses, the businesses, the cars, and all remaining cash." The room exploded. "Witchcraft!" Naledi screamed. "She must have bewitched him. There's no other explanation." Zoleka grabbed her designer clutch. "I'm calling my lawyer. This is not the last of this." Zinzi dramatically collapsed onto a couch, sobbing. "I gave him the best years of my life," she cried, even though she was only 30. Meanwhile, Thando quietly chuckled. "Well, Dad always said Sophie was the real MVP, he murmured to himself. Sophie, unmoved by the chaos, knew that Zola had left her in charge because she had genuinely contributed to his success. While the other wives squabbled, she took control of the businesses and began making plans to grow them even further. As for Zola's 11 children, they learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, life, and love, is not just unfair, but hilariously unpredictable. The tale of Zola's secret 5th wife and his outrageous will became an urban legend, an epic story of love, wealth, and drama that people would be talking about for years to come. To be continued.